welcome to JANA'S hut. Today's episode will feature a guest star, Next Door's dog. I will try and edit it out as much as possible, but there's nothing I can do for now. In today's episode I will be paint testing the second machine that I made. I'll be using the same colour scheme as the previous one, but what I'm going to do with this one is paint more of the mid colour and less of the highlight colour. I just want to see what would happen if I was to paint less of it in this Wraithbone colour. I've already painted it black before I decided to start filming this process. Before I painted it black, it looked like this. Today I'm going to base coat it in this first, then add this colour, then this colour. I'm going to use this brush to apply my undercoat, as it's a lot thicker than the one I previously used and will make the process a lot quicker. I can just slap on the paint, and I'll be using this same brush that I used last time to apply the dry brush colours. This piece I'm going to take out because I want to keep that clear. I'm going to put that to one side and I'll get started on the base coat colour. Big blob of paint. I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way to the top, just slap it on. This thicker brush is working better already. Just applying that colour. Making sure that I go over every piece a few times. Make sure I get rid of all the excess paint that I may have collected. Paint's going on really well. This brush is much better. I don't like holding it on these little bits, so I'm going to put it down and let that dry. Now it's a little bit dry on the base, I can start painting the top. The brush really holds lots of paint. You can just keep painting, not have to keep reloading the brush. Just make sure you've got everything covered. That's all the outside part painted. There is this bit inside with this detailing that I will be trying something out on, but for now I'm just going to paint it all brown. There's still blue there. I'm just going to load up my brush and really prod it in. Hope that it covers all that blue up. Now that the top's dry, I can turn it over and paint at a different angle. These weird angles are hard to get, so I'm just going to put it inside and run it round and hope that I'm getting what's left of the green from the milk bottle. So that's a nice base coat of brown. I'm going to go and wash my brush and then let that dry for a bit and then apply my second colour. Now I've given that a chance to dry, I'm going to apply my second colour. So I want to add a bit more of this colour on this model, just to see what it's like. Make it a little bit less dirty, maybe. So I'm going to just start applying paint into places that I know I want there to be a lot of colour. because there's a lot of paint on my brush, a bit too much. I'm just going to keep wiping it on there, have a little flick on here. You can see at the top there it's a bit messy. It's getting there because the paint is coming away from the brush. I'm going across because the ridges are going up. Just keep turning it round. Getting everything nice and covered. There's hardly any paint left on the brush. Let's try this. Oh, it just takes ages to get on. You can just see it. Well, they're going in a certain direction. Let's see. Interesting. More paint. Right, now I've loaded my paint brush again. I try and be careful not to ruin what I've just done. And again, just apply it where I know I want there to be colour. Let's slap a bit on here. Really dry it out. Oh, it's good. Because this has got an angle to the way the ridges come from the centre out, the paint might collect in a different way. Just going to try and catch that penny a little bit. Because I know I want these panels to be quite coloured, I'm just going to go in with a quite a loaded brush. As you can see, it's quite bright already straight away. You just want to just go back and forth until it looks how you want it. Be mindful of how much paint you want to put in each location. So just at the edges of these, there's no paint, and that's what I want. This brush is pretty dry, so I'm going to go back into this. Keep adding to this, because the more I do this, the brighter the paint will become. Just keep going with a stacked brush. This detail here, I want to make sure I don't mess that up, and these buttons here. So let's see if I can do it with a really dry brush, just to catch the ridges. So I don't want to go up and down, just across. Just put more paint out, so this brush, it will be heavy loaded with paint. I want to get this to look more a bit like this, so I'm going to just carefully go back and forth. Lots of paint on there. Make sure I'm hitting all the right bits. It's just gone into the crevice there. It's probably as I've skipped over this, and it's gone into that. With this brush being dry, I think I'm going to just apply what I can get off the brush into this bit. It's great, you can see all the writing. Now I do want this detail here to be more prominent. A bit of paint on here, I'm just going to gently wisp by it, catch. Finish doing that piece in there. And with the excess, I'm just going to dab it in to the places that I've missed. There. What's going on? 1980. I think I've just got the code for this machine. Also says store upright, so it must be like that. I'm going to let that dry for a bit so that I can continue painting the base. It's dry enough now, so I'm going to keep adding paint. When there's lots of paint on the brush, you want to keep the brush far away, and then as the paint runs out on the brush, you can bring the brush closer . My paint is quite stacked in the brush, so I'm just going to try to gently apply it to the base here. With this effect, when there's too much paint, it will stack like that. There's not much you can do once that's applied. If you go overboard, I'm just going to apply patches. I'll keep going till this has got more of this colour in it, as I wanted to have more of this colour. Now I've applied quite a bit of this second colour, and you can see a lot of the brown underneath still, which is good. It highlights all the details, which is what it's meant to do. I'm just going to paint the top of that a little bit. I need to be mindful of the details so I don't clog everything up with paint. Just hit the ridges. I'm just going to see how much paint's on the brush by putting it up here, add a bit down here. Okay, now I'm going to go in and on these ridges, just I'm just going one way. Making sure I hit every bit. Now I'm going back and forth, there's hardly any paint left. Just to get this paint out, I'm going to push. It's looking good. And I want that also to be painted, so paint in there as well, just for the head of it, so you can see all the details a bit clearer. The brush is becoming drier, but because there's already a layer of this colour on, it just makes it a bit bolder. So that's the mid colour done. I've got a good coverage there with this colour. I've managed to keep a lot of the base coat showing, so it really highlights all those recesses and ridges. Now I'm going to go and wash my hands, wash my brush, and I will apply a highlight coat. With my first machine I went quite heavy on this colour, and I lost quite a bit of this colour, so I want to be a lot lighter when I do this one, just to keep this nice sand colour visible. This time what I've done is just prodded my brush into the paint, and I'm just going to get off as much as I can before I go anywhere near this one. Where to start? So I'm just going to gently just go for it. You can just about see it applying and going on, but it is going on. And the drier the brush, the harder it is to get on. It's coming along. You see, I'm just catching these top ridges, bringing out the white bits. So look, that's the front. So I'm going to focus on there, make sure I do a good job. Just slowly build up layers of this colour, really slowly, so you don't wipe it all out, all your undercoats. So the contrast between those three colours is really beginning to stand out a lot better if you just do a little bit of highlight. Now I just got to try and do the base and not mess it up. I think that's looking pretty good. Just got to do the inside. What you don't want to use is already dried paint from a palette. It might seem like it's dry on a brush, but it's just going to clump up when you go to apply it. So make sure you've always got fresh paint that's dry on the brush. No, make sure the brush is dry, not the paint. You need wet paint. Gone a little bit harder on the highlight for that bit. I am happy with these highlights. I think that if I was to do any more on these panels, it might ruin the layers that I'm trying to build up. I've applied enough of that colour now that I'm happy that that is highlighted. I've left that bit inside because I'm going to work on something for that. I can reattach its little pipe. And then we have a new machine. This is the first one I did. A lot whiter because I went in a lot harder with that highlight. But I think it looks good. You can still see that they're from the same area. This one's just maybe been somewhere else. Hasn't been there as long. Again, there's quite a few little details that I'm gonna go back and finish, but I just wanted to get the overall colour for that. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that it's been helpful and has inspired you to get painting, get creating. Please leave any comments down below, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.